Hail, adventurers, and welcome to a side-by-side comparison of The Elder Scrolls Online and World of Warcraft. If you've only ever played one of these games before and you're finding you kind of want to see what else is out there on the MMO market, or you've never tried one of them before, then I thought I would come up with this short 3-part video series comparing the two side-by-side in terms of artistic style and graphics, and gameplay and control elements, basic gameplay and control elements, and the type of content available to you in each one. This is not meant to determine which game is superior to the other, as everyone's opinion varies and everyone finds different styles of gameplay more entertaining. I personally do enjoy both games. I've played both of them since they each launched. Obviously I've put a lot more time into WoW as it's a lot older of a game, but I do have enough experience in each game that I thought I would be able to help somebody out who might not know too much about one or the other or both. So let's get her running here, and I'll start off with some quick artistic and graphics comparisons of the two. Let's get her running. Starting with The Elder Scrolls Online, the game has decided to take a bit more of a realistic approach to its graphics. The game has a little bit of a darker color palette compared to World of Warcraft, and it has quite a fair bit of clutter objects that make up the game world, giving it a much more lived-in and living, breathing world type of feel. As well, characters have a fair bit of depth into their creation and their uniqueness. You'll hardly find, even amongst NPCs, very many that look like a carbon copy of each other. Let's take a look now at World of Warcraft. In the World of Warcraft, the game goes for more of a stylized, cartoony approach, mainly to match with the style of Warcraft 3, the RTS game that came out prior to World of Warcraft. The game is definitely brighter than The Elder Scrolls Online, and as well, just like with The Elder Scrolls Online, there are a decent amount of clutter objects in the world. Gives it the more lived-in and living, breathing world feel. Character models eventually tend to run together and some start to look the same. But there's still a decent amount of variety that you don't notice it too much. In the character creation screen, you can preview your character wearing their novice starter gear, champion gear that you may acquire later on throughout your adventures, or no gear at all for customizing your character's appearance. If you're on PC, you can use your mouse wheel to scroll in and out for fine-tuning. And the types of options available for your body type, it can range from thin to larger or just muscular. I'll just center that right there for now. You can change your height as you please. And your skin color can vary a decent amount on some characters. Body markings can become available, tattoos or scars, etc. And then you can tweak almost every individual portion of your character's body, their torso, chest size, etc. You can give your character no abs whatsoever, or give them a bit of a gut. Make their arms thick or thin, etc. Their face, you can choose the more angular approach, a softer look, heroic as they call it. You can change their voice. I'm trying to hold back a little bit of laughter right now, as some of those sounds could be misconstrued. Obviously you can change the hairstyle. You can even change their overall age and appearance. So the game has a decent amount to offer right down to the eye color. Nose shape and height, eyebrows, etc. It's fairly similar to, say, Skyrim, which a lot of people have played. It gives a decent amount of depth. Let's move on to the next section. Character customization in the World of Warcraft will allow you to create a brand new character, as well as a class trial character at a higher level, to see if you do enjoy playing that class or not. Aside from that, when you customize your character, you usually have a limited number of options here on the left side. Gender, of course, and you can select skin color, a few different presets of facial features, your hairstyle, your hair color, and any piercings your character might have. Not as expansive as the Elder Scrolls Online, but it still offers a decent amount of customization to make your character unique to yourself. The Elder Scrolls Online offers viable third and first person perspectives for the game. In third person, you can scroll the camera in and out to get as close to your character as you would like. As well, in the camera options and settings, you can change a few other things like your field of view as such, and the offset of where the camera rests. If you feel like centering your character more, or having your character off to the side as you play the game. And then in first person mode, just zoom all the way in. If you equip your main and offhand items, it will display them on screen along with animations for their use. The game doesn't take away from... It doesn't clutter up your screen too much with particle effects when you attempt to use spells and whatnot. Now let's take a look at what World of Warcraft has to offer. The World of Warcraft defaults to a third-person perspective, with varying degrees of zooming in and out of your character with the mouse wheel. It does have a first-person perspective, mainly though for taking screenshots, I would say, as the game doesn't offer... I will just begin combat here. I'm technically in combat with this training dummy at the moment, but it does not show my equipment on screen. As well, if you tend to use a lot of abilities with lots of particle effects, they will eventually overwhelm your screen and you won't be able to tell what you're doing. The game does not optimally play in a first-person perspective. The game is best used in third person, as you'd only be hurting your gameplay if you tried to play in first person, unless you really want to challenge yourself. The Elder Scrolls Online has a wide variance of emotes your character is capable of doing, as this orc guard pushes me around. I'll just look some up here. If you type in /sit, it gives you a few different varieties of the sitting animation. So I'll just take a seat on the ground here. That's the default one. But let's pick sit 3. Looks like I'm posing for a sexy portrait, perhaps. You can choose to sit in a chair anywhere you want. And yes, as you saw in there, you can also do sit-ups. There are also musical instruments you can play, such as the lute, and the flute, and drums. You can also, if you've positioned yourself up against a wall or something, you can be leaning up against it while flipping a coin and looking like that ominous cartoon villain if you choose. That's about it for demonstrating the emotes for now for Elder Scrolls Online. Let's move on to World of Warcraft. World of Warcraft offers a variety of emotes, not quite as many as Elder Scrolls Online, and not as varied, but each of the races does have their own unique emote animations to a varying degree. And there's two types. There are regular emotes and voice emotes. One type of regular emote may be to kneel. Or perhaps you want to flex. And then a voice emote, well, perhaps you need healing.
I need healing.
Or you just want to thank someone.
Thank you.
And each race has its own types of flirts and jokes.
Actually, I'm more of a morning elf.
For the final portion of the artistic direction of each game, I've chosen to include voice acting. In the Elder Scrolls Online, randomly around the world, NPCs will converse with each other. You will hear that on occasion. As well, anybody that you can interact with in a conversation, whether it's idle conversation, a merchant, or a quest giver, everything is voice acted.
Ah, Malek's jawbone. Needled myself again. Got hands like an ogre, I do. You look nimble, though. Need something?
And even somebody who isn't somebody who you would normally interact with.
It might be unseemly for a woman of noble birth to be drawn to the forge, but I can't help myself. I find all the muscles and sweating to be so interesting.
No comment. And while I haven't been able to trigger it yet on this video here, as I said before, randomly NPCs will be conversing with each other, usually about your exploits. Let's move on to what World of Warcraft has to offer now. Unlike in the Elder Scrolls Online, where every single character voices aloud what you're reading on screen, in the World of Warcraft, most of the time when you click on a quest giver, you'll just have to read off whatever your quest is, as the character will not voice it for you, unless it's the event of a main quest in some of these later expansions, where they tend to get a little more heavily into the voice acting. On the flip side, though, every single character in the game, even ones that you can't begin dialogue with, they do have audio built in, mainly just from clicking on them as such.
You are a beacon of light in the darkness. We are a force of balance in a chaotic ocean.
You can click on, if you click on the same character several times in a row, they'll read through a few different standard greetings, and eventually move into more unique dialogue, which starts to border on very passive-aggressive and angry tones as you click on them too much. And eventually it'll reset right back to their standard greetings again. Well, that's my comparison for the Elder Scrolls Online and World of Warcraft for this first portion of the video on the artistic direction of each game. I hope it was helpful to you and that you enjoyed, and if you did, please like and subscribe. And I plan on picking up in the next video where we'll be taking a look at core gameplay and control elements, and then also the kind of content that each game has to offer. I hope to see you in those videos too. Until then, take care.